Here we are, fourth and final round. Two returning juggernauts. We've already seen what these decks have in store for us tonight. Let's see how they lock up.
Erik's already beaten one Mardu deck.
And here he is with a nice start. Llanowar Elf into Branch Walker.
And I spoke to Brice in between rounds. The only thing he can do, turns 1 and 2, are play Treasure Map. He has no other 2-drops.
No other activity in that regard.
No Moment of Cravings, no Shocks, no Lightning Strikes. So this start, which it's a good start for Erik, not like a great start, is basically the best that Brice can hope for going into his turn 3.
Wondering why Erik attacked with this Llanowar Elf instead of playing the Rekindling Phoenix.
He's probably trying to get as much damage as possible.
Yeah, he might be trying to like achieve a Vivian read on 4 here.
Which is probably more relevant.
Alright. Here's 3 damage for you, Brice.
But now that Brice is representing Bedevil.
Alright, so here's Vivian. This is going to keep the lands a-coming. And once the lands have come, the creatures will be behind him.
Spellbreaker is going to be good.
Okay. Yes, sir. Bedevil.
Alright, there's the Bedevil.
No Spellbreaker. Bedevil takes down Vivian.
Spellbreaker is going to force, at least for a turn, Brice to react on his turn.
Yep.
Which will be great for Erik creating and deploying hasty threats. Additionally, it makes it difficult, even more difficult to deal with Rekindling Phoenix.
Alright.
So Brice takes 2, goes to 11.
These leading attacks are really, really interesting for me. Like the whole thing about the Gruul deck is that most of your stuff has this ride ability, which is haste most of the time against the control deck.
So if you don't want to just drop it with haste into open mana, so I agree with this. Plus, setting up this Rhythm of the Wild, Rekindling Phoenix, quote-unquote combo, it's a really nice interaction. It is pretty good. Let's see what Brice is trying to do here. He has multiple Angraths. He knows that Angrath's probably not safe because of this Rhythm of the Wild. Opting to take down these 2 Llanowar Elves.
That's fine. I mean, putting Erik back onto the back foot with 3 mana is a fine place to be.
This takes for mana pretty well.
Erik's gonna reload. Just spin it. Yep. There's the mountain. Put that bad boy into play.
Attack for 3. Yeah, this Rhythm Wild is going to help him keep up pressure here.
Yep.
Brice is going to have a flipped treasure map next turn, though.
Yeah, he'll be able to do a lot of things. I kind of wish Brice's top end was way more impactful. I feel like he gets to... So he's got an available 7 mana here if he were to flip the map.
Mm-hmm.
And with 7 mana, I feel like you should be able to really... really take over a game. You should be able to do something that's very difficult to answer.
All right, so we're going to answer the Rhythm of the Wild here. That's relevant.
Like, I think about the Jeskai or just Izzet decks that had... that ended in Niv Mizzet.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Nimbus is super impactful.
Right. But I want something on that order.
And here's the Rekindling Phoenix. So I don't know that I would have not played the Spellbreaker there and gotten the damage in.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have the Spellbreaker next turn, and he's forced to answer. Because you have 2 Spellbreakers in hand, I believe. He's forced to answer the one on his turn, and then the one that you play on your turn.
Yeah.
Draws a Settle.
Yeah, and the Spellbreaker's going to help clean that card up. So he's got, you know, once again, we're at like 7+ mana. So he's got to have a removal spell for the Spellbreaker.
Oh, no.
And then, yeah, see?
Playing into this.
Sure.
Yeah. Playing the Spellbreaker pre-combat there is huge. That's the whole point of the card.
Right. It's very anti-settle the wreckage.
Yeah, at this point you have 4 mana. Your only cards are Spellbreaker and Llanowar Elf that you can cast, so you might as well get them out there.
Yep.
And then next turn you get like a Vivian Reed. I mean, so this is still threatening lethal next turn,
Yep.
but you give him a lot more opportunities to answer everything.
Yeah, look at how many answers he's got now. He's got Kaya's Wrath. He could, if I'm Brice, I'm wrathing and then drawing cards with the Treasure Cove. But he's got a lot of options. He could also use these treasures to cast Vraska's Contempt if that's, you know, warranted.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not far off from stabilizing.
He's right there. We're on the brink. I think this is a good start.
5 life isn't my favorite number. I'd love to be at like 7. Because 7 puts you, it takes 3 spells to get you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas 5, it's a shock and a lightning strike, or a lightning strike and a lightning strike, or any combination like that. I think you're going to be forced into a contempt here.
No, he's going to 1.
He's going to go to 1. Wow.
Because I didn't think he had settled wreckage.
So he's at 1. He might be
Oh,
planning.
we're just trying to angel him?
Yeah, he could plan on Angeling. He could plan on the Vraska's Contempt. Can he do both? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, he didn't play land for turn.
No, I think the Clifftop Retreat
Oh, okay.
was the line for turn.
So he should be able to play both. Oh, no, he used a treasure to draw a card. That's
Yeah,
what.
drew a card with the treasure.
Oh, we tapped that poorly.
So I would Angel, which guarantees you a life total of 1. Block whatever can die with the Angel. And then next turn you could go to 10.
I'll flash in the angel first. Sure. Which blocks? Yep. Block the blocker. Okay, so the trade.
Yep. That trade there, perfect.
I'll stay 1. Yep. Jade Light Ranger? Yeah. Or, you don't want to
I wouldn't keep committing cards to the board if I were Erik.
Yeah, we tried to cast a Jade Light Ranger on 2 mountains, which is why I commented that his
No, his Spellbreaker was cast poorly.
tapping there was poorly done.
I could have actually played it.
We just back up. We're going to shuffle that one. Ew.
All right.
Corrected that. Let's draw a card. So treasure map's done its work. Here's a follow-up map. Not, oh jeez, okay. Let's leave up that 2 white so we don't we don't get ourselves in a ringer here. All right, here's Vraska's attempt to
So
put
he's
into
left
3.
himself pretty open here.
Yeah, I mean
There's a lot of draws. We know
Right.
there's a Jadelight Ranger in hand, which means that all of the Rhythm of the Wilds off the top are very good.
Yeah, any card with the word riot in the text is good. Any card.
He didn't get any of those. But we did get his Vivian read.
All right, that's fine. We can fight through a Vivian Reed.
You can definitely fight through a Vivian read, although his hand is multiple Engraths and not much else. So any fighting is going to be from the top of the library.
Yep. He needs to figure out when he can have 6 mana available to the other thing he needs
Probably
to do
gonna
is
do this
start playing plains. Start playing just white instead of multicolored for this treasure map activation.
He just paid colorless for it. So it's all good.
No, the treasure trove makes any color.
Does it?
Yeah.
So we got a Vraska's Contempt to go back up to 5. Yeah, Treasure Trove just adds colorless.
Oh, does it only add colorless? Interesting.
What's the draw there? It looks like a Spellbreaker. All right, let's see what we got. 4 mana. Domri.
Domri. So this card has the word riot in the text. So this is going to give the next creature riot. And
It's
here's
going to be this Rekindling Phoenix, I assume.
So he could choose a different creature to play around. Does Bedevil exile?
Bedevil does not exile.
Okay, so Rekindling Phoenix is a fine choice. Here it is. Right, give it haste, attack you for El Winnow.
I think he's just down to 1. Because he gained 3 life that I think we missed on the Vraska's Contempt.
Okay. We had the wrong totals. So he's down to 1 again. And we're flipping the map, leaving the cove up this time so we can draw the card. I was wrong about the tapping before. Not scum, just dumb.
Definitely going to need an answer here, though.
He's got to do something.
So we can put ourselves back up to 10. But the possibility that Erik can just deal him 10 is very high.
Yeah, 10, oddly enough, is not out of reach of this Gruul deck.
So even with the creatures in hand, if he plays the Spellbreaker and then plus his Domri and plays the Jadelight Ranger, that right there with no Explore triggers hitting is 9. So he only has to hit with 1 Explore trigger.
Yep.
To make that even 10. And I think you have to go for it. Like that's you can win the game right now. But we're not. We're going to look for some creatures.
Yeah, I mean, Brice does have 2 cards in hand and 1 redraw. And he left up the Angel, which we've calculated for, but there's a lot of options here.
All right, so at the very least, we should play this guy, haste, swing in for 6.
This is 7, so Brice has to
7, sorry.
Brice has to put himself to 10 here.
Draws a Doom Whisper. It's a good draw. We'll go to 10.
So that was the turn he got to do that. It's
And now we have, is that 5 mana? So we just get to deploy the rest of our hand, which is not what we're going to do. I would have at least played the Wild Growth Walker. I understand wanting to keep cards back, not play into a Wrath, but he's at 3.
Yeah, he's definitely on the back foot here.
All right, we got a card draw, digging for a Wrath. He's got a settle. That's not going to cut it.
Well, he gets to play Angrath, take the Gruul Spellbreaker, kill Domri with it, and then the Spellbreaker dies because it costs 3 or less.
Down to control that.
Sure.
And then this makes the settle live.
Untap it. Swing power turn. Yep. You're still at 20. Yeah. I will move to
So he's going to get to settle and draw an additional card at the end of his turn.
Yeah, it's
With
pretty
the available mana. Not bad. Settle's one of the few answers to this Rekindling Phoenix.
Oh, he's another Rekindling Phoenix too. Yeah, this is what happens when you don't play the cards in your hand.
So go get you a basic, I guess. Brice, being the sporting player he is, confirming that his opponent does not want the search.
The legal player comes to play tap though.
Yeah, you got to confirm that now. So don't just let him. Don't let him roll
That force
through it,
does
guys.
come into play tapped.
Forest is tapped.
Yeah, the force you that came in.
Okay, we pointed
So
out.
one of these. Yep.
Okay.
I want a Jade Light Ranger here. Definitely don't want to draw land next turn.
Forever.
There we go. Let's see it.
Like 5 turns ago on that one play that we couldn't do.
Land to hand. Rhythm of the Wild to the bin. Good choice.
Yeah, if this card was anything but a Wild Growth Walker, I'd probably keep the Rhythm of the Wild. But it's not going to be lethal.
I will on the end step.
Here's Bryce's draw step. Drew 1 off the Treasure Trove at the end of turn, and here's the Clifftop Retreat was the draw step.
I will pick up.
What else you got? Discard a card and take 2.
Goodbye, Mountain. Looks like he's going to play this other Angrath, which is good.
Yeah.
Last time we saw him play, he wasn't willing to sacrifice an Angrath.
I'll play another.
And now I think he realizes that he has to.
I'm just going to put that one there. I'll minus taking that Jade Light.
Angrath stealing the Jade Light, attacking for 3. Giving a little what's up. And now he has to deploy a Doom Whisper as a blocker.
It's a hell of a blocker. Can attack through with a Kindling Phoenix. But does leave him susceptible to another Spellbreaker draw.
I think he's played a land already. Did he play the Clifftop
I'm not sure.
on his hand? No, he didn't. Okay, he did not play land.
Draws a Jade Light Ranger, I believe.
Alright, here's Wildgrowth Walker, followed by Jade Light Ranger, the old Wombo combo.
What's that? Force. Play it.
It's 2 counters on there, 1 counter on the Jade Light. His life total becomes larger.
You know, 1 counter on the Jade Light is a big deal. Means all 3 creatures are lethal.
Yep,
Um,
Brice still getting a lot of land.
yeah, Brice might just lose here.
Tick up. Have you discard
Interesting game.
15.
He's going to have to play a second Doom Whisper. Did he keep 1 card in hand? Yeah, he still has 1 card in hand. I would not play that land.
Yeah, he played the Isolated Chapel. Now here's the second Doom Whisperer in his hand.
And if you hold it back, you might be able to convince him to not attack. I feel like Erik's punted this game a couple times already, but he might still walk away with it.
Oh, doesn't even give him the...
Brice not even interested in it.
So many lands.
Not interested in the
No
feign.
gamesmanship. You heard it here first. Gamesmanship is dead.
Gamesmanship dead. Chivalry dead. But that's okay. I thought that was super interesting. I think this Gruul deck, if you're building for this format, and you're messing around,
Every time I passed, I was like, oh,
I think the Gruul deck is a deck that you should test against. Not because I think it's going to be a huge piece of the metagame, but I think it's a good benchmark for what's possible in standard right now. I think if you can come up with answers for everything on this on the Gruul deck's list, then you've got probably a solid standard deck, because it definitely has some serious creatures in it. It's asking some tough questions.
It is asking some tough questions.
Dealing with Gruul Spellbreaker at 3 and Carnage Tyrant at 6, with there's flyers in between.
Right.
Is it's a lot to take in. You know what I mean? You have to have a lot of different types of cards.
You don't see a lot of Carnage Tyrant in these lists, if I'm being honest. In the Gruul lists.
Sure, I agree. Most of them that I've seen top out at 5.
But yeah, Carnage Tyrant on the board is certainly something you need to be aware of, and I'm sure it's something that's on Brice's mind.
Yeah, it's just interesting. What decks would you, if you were brewing?
If I was a Bruin,
you're in the lab. What decks would you want to test against? What would you like your level 0? Like, I have to be able to have game against these 2 decks before I even go and try and insert this deck into the larger metagame. Where would you be right now?
Mono Red and Nexus.
Okay. So you just want a list that can play with both of those?
Yeah. So you want... I don't think either are the best deck in the format.
Agreed.
But I think those are the 2 level 0 decks you need to play around. And then I'd probably round out the Gauntlet with a Sultai list and a Gruul list. Gruul just being like the more aggressive mid-range strategy, and Sultai being the more grindy mid-range strategy. But if I found a deck that consistently beat those decks, I'd be very happy. Unless it was a control deck, then I wouldn't be very happy.
Right. Not interested in playing Quench.
So I don't think Quench is playable even if you do like control.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem playing control. I'll play the heck out of some control. I just don't like it in this format in particular.
Right. Yeah, there's so many better things to be doing.
What I actually don't like is not knowing where my Teferi's are, so I can't play control, and I'm not going to buy them again.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I wanted you to say.
I agree. That becomes frustrating.
Yeah.
We're still playing for the
We're
league.
playing for the
We're signed up for the
league.
standard league.
Any hoozle.
The league, yeah.
We're
playing
really
for that
giving
one
this a
before
good
spring
shuffle.
break.
Bryce giving it a good shuffle. Eric did his standard
we're gonna-
pile shuffles,
All the standard showdown
Yeah.
passes.
which,
So that league
as
is
we
for,
all know, you're allowed one
the
of.
third Ravnica
Did
pack.
you do more than one?
Yeah, the
No.
next set.
I was going to call for the man.
How does it work?
Somebody call the man.
So I guess you play
Get over there and
so
slap
play
Eric around.
every week until basically the week after pre-release.
If you can get the man to come do that, call the man on me.
Your worst.
How much is it?
The man comes around and slaps some fools for
Your worst.
pile
3
shuffling
weeks,
more than once.
Obviously, weeks
Sure.
don't show up, get dropped off of your record.
Gotcha. You missed the 4th week.
I guess it counts against you.
So yeah, it's been a long time since I've
Yeah, if you play them.
gone and like built a deck fresh out of my mind,
Yeah?
and then taken it through a testing process and refined it.
I like standard.
Yeah.
But I like where your head's at to get the. Oh God, is Bryce sending? He is sending selfies to somebody. He's on the snap. Good for you, Bryce. You play that game, buddy. Let's
selfie
go.
Selfie from the feature match.
From the feature. Hey, babe, I'm on feature match.
Check me out.
Check me out.
Twitch.tv/Top Deck Productions.
You know it.
Get your subscribe button ready.
You can see my hands.
Is that a Bedeck Bedazzle? Bedeck Bedazzle? I believe it is.
All right, we got a pair of keeps.
I wonder if Bedevil was once a half of that card.
What?
Bedeck Bedazzle.
Oh, sure, Bedeck Bedevil. I think adding anything to Bedevil would be
don't have
just
any.
over the top. The card's already so good.
Yeah. Here's a good 2-mana rule spell.
Let's pull this one up, man. These split cards are hard to... You gotta remember 2 cards.
You only really have to remember 1 card with that, but
No, the other one's not very good.
6 mana, instant speed, destroy target non-basic land, deals 2 damage
Alright.
to target opponent or planeswalker.
Oh, Bedeck is like immolation.
Bedeck is last gasp. Where are you getting immolation from?
You know, remember the red?
I
enchant-
remember.
Dude, that was a removal. It was supposed to be like this pump spell, but it's just a removal spell.
So Bedeck is nameless inversion.
Okay.
Bedazzle is a much more expensive Molten Rain, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's instant speed, and it can hit planeswalkers.
Sure.
Pastor.
Yeah, I could see these random cards that can like incidentally destroy a land. They probably put them in there as a stopgap for the if the Ixalan lands became too good.
Yeah, they're in there for the best of 1 mana.
Sure.
We don't need it.
So yeah, I wonder if the deck be. I'd have to look at some best of 1 deck lists.
Brice stuck on 3. That's not where he wants to be.
Nope.
I mentioned he has very limited interaction at 2. He's got more at 3, obviously.
Yeah, he's got Mortify. You know, leaves the Carnage Tyrant on top. Let's attack for a bajillion here. Here's 6.
That Jadelight Ranger cannot attack.
Does not have haste.
Those 2.
Yeah.
Nice little 6 swing.
Pass turn.
Yep.
Come on, land.
In the next turn, presumably we're getting a Carnage Tyrant.
Oh.
Yeah, so Bryce definitely doesn't have a Mortify in hand because he's just
Alright, so now we just swing in for
3, 6,
9.
8, 9. You're right, 9.
Put him in 5, so we can just...
Yeah, just
Banefire him
don't
out?
do anything. Oh, sure, Banefire him.
There you go.
Yeah, Bryce needed a.
That's what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps. Oh, look at all these bad bees.
I didn't have the second black, and this is my.
That's what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps.
That's what happens. Larry.
I needed, but
When
if I could got to that.
yeah, Bryce's deck really dependent on that turn 2 treasure map,
Well, good games.
and
Yeah, if he doesn't get the turn 2 treasure map, his deck is...
a lot more clumsy.
Yeah.
But Bedeck was good there.
It had
Yeah,
so much
Bedeck was
interaction.
sweet. I think it's a good 2-mana removal spell.
Yeah, I'd keep it in there.
So it gets around Adanta Vanguard and still deals with Wild Growth Walker.
Kaya's Wrath and
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
you had everything.
Those are
Like,
2
like-
points in the format.
Right. So I think it has a spot there for that reason.
Sometimes when you play
If
the
I'm
deck,
playing
you don't know.
Yeah, it's
Like, you know what I
Black
mean?
Red and not like a ton of other stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm only playing like Black Red or maybe splashing a 3rd color, but the 3rd color is definitely the splash. Then Bedeck Bedazzle might be better than Lightning Strike
Right.
in the decks where you're using it on creatures.
And It might be one out of every, 30 rounds. But I'll bet you when you get to bedazzle somebody's treasure trove, to like turn off their 3 card draws or whatever,
Yeah.
it's worthwhile. Or there's Kanta or something of that nature.
Yeah.
There's
hitting
useful
it's good.
lands in this format is my point. So
All right. So
that's our show. We had some good ones.
yeah, we had some good ones. We got a lot of good conversation about bedazzling and bedecking
Yeah, and
and many other things.
we got to you really see the tip of the iceberg on this new standard format. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got 2 more subscribers, and we're gonna, we up the prize on that giveaway. So, very exciting stuff.
Very exciting. But we'll see you tomorrow. We'll have Modern Friday. I don't know
More
what they're doing
Modern?
on Friday anymore, but I'll be here playing Standard. So
Okay.
if they're showing Standard, catch me then. But we'll be back next week for some more hot Standard action.